Right. Are we live? Are we live? Looks like we're live. What up, everybody? What up? Let's just let's chat about Pink Floyd and what makes them so great. Well, I never thought I'd say this, but the more they bash Roger Waters, the more I'm liking this guy. Just because the fact that we got people, everyone up in arms about some one guy. I'm like, well, all right. I hate the bullying stuff, man. I hate it, and I just kind of funny that oh my goodness, we got to go after Roger Waters. I mean, some washed up friggin' musician pulverizer. It's like, well, if you're going to be all that against Roger Waters, and the enemy of my enemy is my enemy, or whatever it's called, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, something like that. All right, so we got. I saw Denise on here. We got up north in Minnesota. American legend needs some financial therapy. Oof. We got Scott in Iowa. I get so bored of listening to Rob Berger, my head goes numb. Yeah, I don't. Josh is worse. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I don't. I just saw the one Rob Berger thing was going off on Vanguard, and actually, I think Denise sent that to me. And Denise got really upset because she's like, "Dude, you're supposed to be an expert, and you didn't realize how capital gains and dividends are accrued in mutual funds." I'm not on Rumble yet. Why? Why is Rumble? There we go. All right, sweet. All right, cool. I like Rob Berger as well. Rob can go on at times. Let me get it. Look at my man Harry. We got Jill. I had something to say about Denise today or yesterday. I forgot. It was the last live stream I think we did on locals. I had something to say about you, Denise. I forgot what it was. We got Freedom Willing. Yeah, right on. Chicken Charlie's here. Hey, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia in the house. I hope you're surviving 95 crashes. More to come, my friends. More infrastructure decline. Look, it's a declining society. There's no two ways around it. Ooh, did you hear about the Muslims stamping on the rainbow flag in Canada? I'm not passing anything on saying if that's cool or not. I'm not saying anything. Those Muslims stamped on the pride flag in Canada. That was interesting. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to get banned. I just thought that was kind of I had a chuckle, if you will, and I said, "Isn't it funny? I guarantee if you were to do that here and you're not Muslim, you're going to get charged with hate crime. Guarantee. And yet you can stamp on the American flag all day long. I guarantee if you set a rainbow flag on fire, they're going to charge you with hate crime. Guarantee, without question. And yet if you were to do that with American flag, no big deal. You know what I'm saying? It's the whole thing's nuts, dude. We had a guy remember the old days, you couldn't wear a T-shirt like in California. That's the whole thing with, I forgot what it was. The Supreme Court, the Warren Court fell for this guy wore a T-shirt, I don't know, saying something anti-war, anti-Vietnam War T-shirt, and he got kicked out of school for that. And the Warren Court said you can't kick him out. It's an expression of his free speech. Now we got people who wear shirts that say Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord, and they're going to get kicked out, man. It's happening. This isn't to say, oh, we're being persecuted as Christians. This is no. I'm not like that. I do not want to go down that road. Like, man, they're coming after Christians. They are coming after you. There's no other way around that. But take that with pride and honor. Pride and honor. It says, yes, they're coming after us. That's because we're the last game standing. You know what I'm saying? The last man standing is the. Did you hear about Rick Warren, that clown today? Rick Warren, like he and Russell Moore. That guy, Russell Moore from the Southern Baptist Convention, that guy can kiss my big fat behind. Rick Warren sucks, donkey balls. They all suck, dude. Rick Warren's a big clown. And I know Tim Keller recently passed away, but Tim Keller, RIP, but still, and then John Piper, they all suck. Anyway, Rick Warren, big faker. Anyway, he's going off on the Southern Baptists because they don't want to allow women as pastors. And you could disagree with that all you want. That's fine. But because Rick Warren wants the Southern Baptist Convention to go liberal. And Russell Moore, who used to be the president of Southern Baptist Convention, I remember in 2015, I said, oh, there you go. SBC, they're going liberal too because this guy Russell Moore, because they're all seeking the money. They're all seeking the fame, the fortune. It's crazy. All these guys. And so it won't be a matter of time for Rick Warren says, he'll be like an Episcopalian or a what's that church in England? Not the Anglican church. I can't remember. There's a church in England that's like totally freaking left wing. Archbishop Canterbury, whatever that guy is. And they all can kiss my big fat behind. Hey, but it's good. This is good. Hey, we got Jeremy. Get to the point, Josh. I know, right, Jeremy? I'll never get to the point. And so anyways, don't be so like we're victims. Oh, They never do this to Muslims. They never do. No. Say, you damn right I'm Christian. You're damn right. Damn right I'm going to take the Bible seriously. In fact, we're going to get into a quick passage of the Bible, if you will. How dare I? I thought it was very interesting because I'm going through the minor prophets now. All right. And again, I posted on my YouTube channel. I got how many? Where do I have my phone? I posted. And when's the last time you actually opened your Bible? Not the church bulletin, but your actual Bible. All right. And if you haven't done it in a long time, you're wrong. You need to open up the Bible. Now, the Bible will do one of two things. It'll make you start questioning more about your faith, and that's a good thing. And if you do have the ability to question your faith, it'll make you stronger, frankly. So because you're like, I don't, freaking Solomon was a clown. David was a clown. I'm just telling you right now, these guys are clowns. You know what I'm saying? Why God chose them, I don't know, but he chose clowns. There's no other way around it. I don't buy Paul for 2 seconds flat. I actually don't think that, I don't believe in the Trinity. Jesus is Lord. I think Jesus was God's son, and he rose again from the dead. And what we say in Catholicism and fulfillment of the scriptures, 100%. I think Jesus is literally on the right hand of God. But I don't think Jesus is God. I don't think there's a Holy Spirit that is God. I think God sends a spirit to pierce our hearts, if you will. And I think God sent his only son, Jesus Christ, to die on a wood, on a tree for us, so we can go to heaven, not just because we believe, because Satan believes in Jesus, but like Jesus's brother James says, because of the works we do validates our faith. Anyway, but the point being is, I think once you read the Bible, you start saying, man, there's a lot of interest, especially Old Testament. Don't get. I'm not telling you not to read Paul. I just whatever. But Jesus is pretty cut and dry. The Old Testament is it's a challenge, man, because God ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? He ain't playing. And don't just sit there and say, oh, he doesn't like the gays. No. God doesn't like anything. So we'll check this out. So here's an Amos. Amos chapter 8, verse 11. The days are coming, declares the sovereign Lord, when I will send a famine through the land, not a famine of food or a thirst for water, but a famine of hearing the words of the Lord. There's Amos, all right? Men will stagger from sea to sea and wander from north to east, searching for the Lord, the word of the Lord, and they will not find it. And that day, the lovely young women and strong young men will faint because of thirst. They will swear by the shame of Samaria, or say, as surely as your God lives, O Dan, as surely as the God of Beersheba lives, they will fall, never to rise again. So God's saying there will be a famine of my word. Folks, it's coming big time. All civilizations fall when there's debauchery, as we're seeing now, and just insanity coming around. They all fall. Now, I don't know when it's going to happen. Don't know when. Don't care, frankly. I mean, I hope it. I mean, I don't know. We don't know. It's going to happen. And it's going to happen because Christians that got too fat and happy, frankly. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to say anything about the Muslims in Canada stomping on, the rainbow flag. I just want to say I like seeing people taking a stand, and I just, Christians, thankfully, but do Christians even know what they're taking a stand for? You see what I'm saying? And I don't think so. I never read the book of Amos. I never read Obadiah. Do you even know what Obadiah is about? I didn't know until I read it just 2 mornings ago. I said, oh man, why does he keep talking about Edom? What's going on with Edom? Well, Edom is Esau. All right. So I tell you, man, so Esau and Jacob, God chose Jacob over Esau. And you're like, why'd you do that, God? And it will challenge your faith. And that's good, because when you come back from that, you get stronger. And I'm reading about Jonah right now. Jonah is the thing of the fish. How long was, so quiz time. How long was Jonah in the belly of the fish? Anybody want to answer that? How long was Jonah in the belly of the fish? Yeah, 100%, Kirk. Kirk says, my preacher says Christianity, the biggest issue is being comfortable. 100%. Sodom. Yeah, does that sodomy? Huh? Sodom. So what's going to be Gomorrah? I don't know. Gomorrah, whatever. Sodomy? Exactly, Denise. 3 days. 3 days. That's interesting. So Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days. Well, that's impossible, Josh. Let me get the power. Almost there. You can't be a human being in the belly of a fish. Oh, you fools. You're looking at the world in the natural order. You're looking at the world in the natural order. God is supernatural. So God can do whatever God wants to do, man. All there is to it. I don't it's all he wants. God will do what he wants to do. And if God says, I'm going to put a fish out there, right on, Jeremy. Good job, Jeremy. If God says, I'm going to put a fish out there to put Jonah in there and somehow Jonah's going to survive, you guys back and forth and back. Oh, you just farted. You just farted, Finney. Finney jumped up on the chair and he farted. Oh my goodness, look at this guy. Finn, say hi to everybody. Finn. Oh, there. Finney. Hey, you. Oh my man. Oh, gorgeous. Oh, Pablo wants some loving too. Oh, there goes Pablo. Yeah, hi. Yes. You'll get loving too. Don't you worry. Anyway, so 3 days. 3 days. What does that remind us of? Oh, okay. 3 days. What does that remind us of? Interesting. The resurrection, huh? Interesting. Anyway, point being is, I'm excited, dude. I love this nonsense with this crap going on, the 57 flavors. I think it's great. I hope they keep doing it. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't want to say too much, but I'm just hearing from some people that are in my own family that are in college right now. They're starting to say, what the hell is happening? I say, ooh, did you hear about the thing in California? They're showing some math teachers showing some 57 flavors movie. And they're all like, stop, make it stop. And the math teacher's like, if you don't want to participate, I'm going to send you, I'm going to suspend you or something like that. And they're like, oh, dude, it's good. This is good. I love it, man. Keep going on, Blue Jays. Fire, cancel your Christian guy, the pitcher who led your team last year in ERA. Keep canceling this. Is good because Christianity should not be comfortable. You should never be comfortable as a Christian. As I sit here and I say a 3,300 square foot home, freaking, hot 3 cots. I just got some New York strip choice. That was freaking awesome today. Look, I get it, man. I get it. I'm just saying, I love it. I think it's good. It's good because finally, for once, Christianity is going to have to say, we chose the wrong side, man. We chose the wrong side. We were all hostile towards the Muslims. Turns out the Muslims, we need them probably more than they need us, frankly. We chose the wrong side. What's Trump saying, by the way, Jill, about the 57 flavors stuff? Because Trump was big on 57 flavors. It's one thing with 57 flavors when it's just trying to be tolerated, but now it's trying to push the agenda on kids. Does Trump say anything? I just wonder. I don't know if Jill's on here or not. But I'm not saying Jill is Trump's spokesperson, but she's the biggest pro-Trump guy I know that's out there, lady. Anyway, so does anyone know what Trump saying about the 57 flavor stuff? Because again, Trump was big on that, and he was big on it before it's popular to be big on it. So Trump, to his credit, was big on it well before it was cool. That's why I like Trump, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's why I told my wife, say, there's all the things I don't like about Trump, but you just got to go with the guy anyway, just because he's who else is gonna go over Chris Christie? Oh. Anyway, so of all, like Frank, hey, it's Gary. How's Miss Gary doing, Gary? My dad bought a Magnavox 25-inch TV in 1975 for $1,000. I just bought a 55-inch flat screen TV for $258. Yep, that's crazy. $1,000. And think about, Gary, when your dad bought that for $1,000, the median income back then was $15,000. You know what I'm saying? Didn't he say he can't define what's going on with that? I'm not. You talk about the Trumpster. Trump promised to ban the children's story times. I don't know if. Hey, thanks, Bill. I don't know if Trump can ban the. I mean, can the federal government ban? And there's another reason, guys. Trump's been talking down for trans. Yeah, all right, right on. I agree. But But what I like about Trump is before the cool kids were promoting gay marriage, Trump was promoting gay marriage well before Bill Clinton and Biden and freaking Obama. Trump was on it. You know what I'm saying? So look, I got respect for Trump. He's always been a guy that would go against the mainstream in a lot of things. I remember 9/11. Trump was, he had some questions about 9/11. I thought that was pretty cool, actually. I did it back then. Now I have a different way of looking at things. I always thought that was cool that Trump had questions about vaccines, had questions about 9/11, was promoting things that, now in hindsight, probably shouldn't have promoted it, but I get it. He was doing before it was cool to do. So I like that about the guy, 100%. I mean, there's no other option for us. It's Trump or bust. There's no other way to go. I mean, it's just that simple, man. And the question is, will Trump do what he says he does when they let him get reelected? I tell you, this, yeah, he did say, but yeah, I remember that. That was he was saying, but I don't think he was calling them dancing Israelis. I think he was calling them dancing Muslims, wasn't he? Polarizer. I think Trump was. A lot of us got sucked in for that, man, and that dancing Muslims when it turned out to be Israelis. A lot of us got suckered into that. Let's just put it this way: over the last 20 years, a lot of people. Hey, the man Alonzo, right on, man. I like Alonzo. Cool. There he is. He said he'd pull all federal funds from schools that force kids. Yeah, right on. Now, there you go. That's yeah, right on. Yeah, right on. Look at my man. Look at that. Yep. And what's the other one today? We just got some news. I was listening to Jack Spirko, the survival podcast. Not a Trump guy in the least. Not a lib, just not a Trump guy. He's he thinks it doesn't matter who you vote for. It's all basically picked anyway. I don't know. I kind of go vastly back that. But anyway, Trump was what's the other one? Hydrochloroquine? Is that what it is? Yeah. And they give out like millions of doses of that in the VA like a day. You know what I'm saying? Every day or something like that. That's crazy. And Trump was promoting that. Jack Smith will become Jack the Ripper. I don't know who that is. Yeah, Jack Spirko. I like Jack Spirko. I won't say I love him. He's been a big influence on me, man. Jack Spirko introduced me to Curtis Stone, who introduced me to, now not me personally, but who I love, to Owen Benjamin. And that's where I said, I have more in common with Owen Benjamin and the bear community than any other community I've had for a long time, if that makes sense. Yeah, right here. Look at my man Rick. I haven't found a replacement for Wellesley, but I have found a replacement for I don't know any replacement for Wellesley, frankly. I don't know. I mean, you got the Fidelity. I don't have my notes. Oh wait, hold on a second. I haven't found a replacement for Wellesley. But I'm glad you asked that. Oh man, I don't have it. I can have it. I've been yeah, see, I'm not see that's the thing. Being pro 57 flavors, I don't have any qualm with that. But it's gone over the top now. You see what I'm saying? It's insanity now. And it's creating this, I'm telling you, I tell you, man, these young people coming up, they ain't gonna take too kindly some of this stuff. Like the hippies rebelled against their parents, you know what I'm saying? And then the 80s kids rebelled against the hippies by becoming like capitalist and whatnot. Dude, the young, I'm telling you, man, I get it. I know a lot of people think these young whippersnappers are lazy and they don't know anything, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of optimism in that young community because they look, they know what's going on and they know that, people are acting stupid and over the top. And I tell you, there's a lot to be optimistic about. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all collapsing. I mean, it's inevitable. Empires collapse. Our empire is collapsing. We probably got, let's see, this is our 4th century, and really our 3rd century, 1800, 19. Wait, we got the 1800s, the 1900s, this is our 3rd century. So we're, about 3, we probably got another 100 years, and then we're going to be in a way of Greece or something like that, or look at the UK. We'll follow what happened in the UK, Japan, UK. Japan's not quite the better example. UK is for sure. I mean, don't forget, it's like Portugal is a world power. Portugal, you know what I'm saying? The Danish, world power. The Brits, world power. Now look at the Brits. Who cares? Yesterday's news. I mean, the Brits are led by an Indian prime minister and a Muslim friggin' mayor of London. It's not England the way you think of it anymore. That's neither bad nor good. It just is. But it's a collapsing empire in the UK, without question. It's not. No one looks at the UK and says, "Oh wow, those guys." And even with Boris Johnson, what a con. And our thing is going to be the same thing. No other way around it. I mean, it's not. It ultimately is going to collapse on its own arrogance, and we won't be around to see it. But our livelihoods will get less and less as accustomed to what we've got before in terms of, we have things just made to order just like that. Those days are going away. You see them a mile away. Anyway, my man Rick says, I bought a VCR recorder, paid $1,000 in the early 80s. That's crazy. So my $50,000 bond got called. All right. So today, but we called. But today's Monday. Yeah. So I have a FA Federal Home Loan Bank bond that I bought in February at 6%, and I was actually surprised it got called because the interest rates haven't gone down. I thought for sure that I mean they're basically tracking right where they were back when it was issued. So they'll pay me my money in accrued interest. I'm not exactly sure how much accrued interest there'll be come Wednesday. So what I'm going to do, I've decided, is instead of I don't have a replacement Wellesley fund. All right, and I can't invest in company. Look, I cannot invest in companies that pursue as part of their strategy woke crap. I just can't. I can't do it. Is Vanguard doing that? Kinda. I get it. Wellington is doing it more so than Vanguard. Let's just put it that way. And as such, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I just can't. I can't do it. I literally feel ugly trying to make money with people who are literally against me. There's no other way around it. I don't. So as a Catholic, and Catholics universal, and I'm not sitting there saying Catholicism is the way to go, but I was born and raised a Catholic. It's my culture. There's no other way around that. I'm going to go buy I'm going to take that money from my bond and I'm going to put it into the Ave Maria. I think it's dividend growth fund. I'll do another video on this later on. But I used to have the Vanguard dividend growth fund. I sold that, and I long story short, I sold some stuff to buy this bond because I was really upset with Vanguard. You know what I'm saying? And then Wellington really bothered me. That really, really hit me. I was stunned by that. I mean, Walter Morgan, R.I.P., has got to be turned over in his grave, seeing what happened to his good company. It's insanity, man. So I feel, for me personally, that if I'm going, it's not my money. It's God's money. God will do as God sees fit. It's literally, we are stewards of God's money, man. You know what I'm saying? And if you're investing, like a lot of people say, well, the expense ratio is like 1% on the Ave Maria funds. Yes, 100%, 100%. And the reason that for me is a guy who always looked at low fees. And if you want to go index funds, that's fine. I got VTI as well. I still own VTI. I own some individual stocks. I own a long-term government bond fund. But for me, I'm going with the Ave Maria funds for the bulk of my portfolio, simply because I feel comfortable knowing that the guys who run Ave Maria funds will, at the shareholder meetings, they don't have huge assets. They're not trillions of dollars like BlackRock and Vanguard, but it doesn't take trillions of dollars to make a point to say corporate America has gone insane, and it needs to change. You know what I'm saying? And even if it costs a little bit more, even my returns aren't as good. And who knows? I mean, generally speaking, I completely don't think you can beat an index in the long term because the fees are too high. But it's not my money. It's God's. I'm a steward of his money, man. The parable of the talents. That's all them saying. And so, as stewards of God's wealth, I'm going to do what I feel God wants me to do, which is to put my money in still the capital markets, but to put my money in companies that will have the say of my religious beliefs. And they'll go to the corporate shareholder meetings and say, hey, look, I represent $40 billion of assets, and our members, our clients, our investors, they don't like this woke crap. Now, BlackRock will have $40 trillion of assets, so they'll dwarf us all. I get you, but at the end of the day, God, it's all God's. I don't care. It's his stuff. And so I'm sitting before when I'm going to the pearly gates, and Peter says, "Hey, come on in, Josh." And God says, "Hey, man, what'd you do with the talents I gave you?" And I said, "Man, God, I put in index funds because I had the lowest fees." And God says, "Really? You think I couldn't have found a way to make you content somehow with the money I wanted you to be a steward for? You think I couldn't find a way to do that, Josh? Big guy upstairs. You think I said, maybe instead of getting an 8% rate of return, you got 7.5. Is that really going to make or break it, Josh?" And I'll say, "But God, let me show you this. You compound that over 30 years, God, 8% over 7.5. That will left $100,000 on the table." God says, "Yeah, all right, well, okay, I got you. That doesn't seem like it's very confident in the stewardship that I require of you." And that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree. That's fine. I tell you, as you read the good book, you can't help but get more attuned to God, man. It's amazing. It's going to turn you away or it's going to bring you in. It's all there is to it. It'll turn you away from God. It'll bring you in. And for me, as I reading this, I'm like, oh, because I read C. Vernon McGee's Through the Bible. So C. Vernon McGee, he had this book is huge actually, a big book through the Bible that I have the Bible right here. I'm like, so I'm reading Obadiah. I'm like, I don't get why does Obadiah keep talking about, like right here, Obadiah. This is what the Lord says about Edom. I'm like, where is this coming from, man? Because it's before, when you read the other minor prophets, never mind Daniel, Isaiah. Well, Isaiah's a little bit before, but we got Jeremiah, Daniel, and Ezekiel. Isaiah's 100 years before them. You're like, all of a sudden we're talking about Edom. What's going on here? And I'm like, and he's talking about like the house of Jacob. I want to talk about something else here. Oh, disaster. Yeah, right here. You warriors, team men, will be terrified, and everybody in Esau's mountains will be cut down to slaughter because the violence against your brother Jacob. Interesting, because remember Jacob and Esau. You're like, well, where is this coming from, man? I'm like, what is going on? And that day declares the Lord, I will not destroy the wise men of Edom, men of understanding in the mountains of Esau. I'm like, why is it? Anyways, interesting. We got more mountains of Esau, Canaan, and it's just interesting. House of Jacob, house of Esau. Like, where is this coming from? Well, and then you got to start looking, from people more versed in the Bible than me, and that'd be C. Vernon McGee and others. And I said, oh, so he's talking about Esau and Jacob. That right there is interesting. Yeah. So let's keep going. I love my brothers who are making a positive impact and serving mankind fiercely well and good bad for you. Yeah, right on. You are an odd one. You are an odd one. Yeah, you are an odd one that will go to bat for people who are willing to take a stand. That's funny, man. I'd said in my email, if you're not subscribed to my email list, so I had a guy last time, he called me Jim Jones, because I say, hey, if you want to be on locals, $5 a month on my locals channel. He goes, he really was not happy with your old buddy Josh. He goes, you're a version of Jim Jones Christianity where you require $5 a fee. It's basically like I'm leading a cult. Anyway, so I banned him because I think he had to unsubscribe before I had a chance to ban him, because I don't want that guy on my email list. I said, either you're new here or you've never paid attention, because if you feel like I'm just bringing into my the realm of my group here of my faith in the big guy upstairs, I don't know where you've been there, guy, because man, if loving the Lord is wrong, I don't want to be right. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Yeah, let's see, that's the issue, Liberty. I was reading this article today. It was on, I'm gonna share it with you. This is great. Is anyone else on locals anymore? I'm not locals on all right. We only got 4 people on Rumble. That's it. What's going on in Rumble, man? Carson's who's on Rumble. Anyway, I'm gonna share with this article. This was fantastic. All right. It was, Marie says it was VCR versus beta, and VCR went back to, yeah, just kind of like, and VCR was a less better technology, kind of like, was it not Lotus and Excel spreadsheet, but I can't remember, but yeah. I'm going to share this with you guys. All right, right here. Yeah, Naomi Wolf is crushing. It's amazing to me that me and Naomi Wolf are aligned at the hip. If you would have told me that 20, I would have said you're freaking insane. RFK Jr. It's amazing to me. I would have said you're nuts. Anyway, so right here, right here, this guy Brandon Smith. We're going to read this article because this is great. ESG dystopia: why corporations are doubling down on woke even as they lose businesses. All right, so one sec, right here. All right, ESG is becoming a well-known term at the bottom form of impact investing, meaning major lenders like BlackRock or Carlyle Group or think tanks like the Ford Foundation seek to control societal outcomes using lending as leverage. Watch the video of the Ford Foundation's clown chief, head of mission investments. It's about social engineering. All right, so check this out. In the past, lenders would, you don't see what I'm reading here? Yeah, sweet. In the past, lenders would base their financing standards on good credit scores and the likelihood of return on investment. If you had a business with a history of solid returns and worthy collateral, remember cash flow, collateral, credit score, character, that's banking terms for if you're going to loan you money or not. If you had a good solid history of returns and good collateral, you would probably get whatever loans you needed. Today, lenders are trying to set political and ideological terms for companies seeking to obtain financing. You must signal your virtue to get access to money, and this includes supporting climate and carbon initiatives, reorganize your labor based on diversity and inclusion, even promoting 57 flavors. All right. The higher your ESG score, the more likely you'll qualify for access to debt. This is the critical thing, but he doesn't talk about as much as I will, but it's critical. Remember that. The higher your social credit score, the more likely to qualify for access to debt. This is part of the reason why a large array of corporations are increasingly jumping on the Pride Month bandwagon. All they have to do is slap some rainbows on some products or commercials or publicly defend the trans grooming of children, and suddenly they're golden for another year of subsidized funds. All right. But what happens in a world where consumer loyalty is no longer a guarantee and the public starts buying from these companies? What happens when the woke also means going broke? Is ESG cash really worth losing half your customers? Check this out. Well, right now it isn't. As central banks raise interest rates and cut the balance sheets, and I was just reading Brian Westbury today, M2 is down 4.2%. M2 money supply. M2 money supply down 4.2. I think you said like 11 straight months, M2 money supply has been cut. Yeah, that's crazy. I've never seen that. Anyway, as central banks cut their balance sheets, the easy money party that started back in 2008 is ending. After a decade of exponential ESG growth is now in steep decline. And this is directly tied to the policies of central banks like the Federal Reserve. All right. In the past year, it's no longer viable to dump money into useless woke projects, but yet it continues. Why? 20 years ago, the name of the game in the world of business was brand building. If you build your brand and gain market loyalty, you can sustain your profit model for decades to come. Like HBO. Why is HBO getting rid of the name HBO? They're just going to Max. It makes no sense. How many years they spend building up the brand of HBO? Now they're changing it to Max. It makes no sense. I mean, just look at Bud Light. Bud Light's obviously, yeah, but Target, they spent years, decades building up their brand just to throw it away. You're like, that doesn't make sense. This guy talks why it happened. If you could build your brand and gain market, now corporations are actually willing to destroy the very brands they spent so much time and money developing, all in the name of political ideology. It seems like pure madness. But what if they know something we don't? What if they're riding out an engineered economic crisis so they can be rewarded later with too woke to fail riches? They were so woke that we can't let them fail. My theory is that while ESG lending appears to be dying today, tomorrow ESG lending will be the only way for a company to survive. We need to start considering the future possibility of globally institutionalized ESG. The frightening notion of central bank ESG financing has been circulating ever since the days of the COVID pandemic. From the BIS, the Bureau of International Settlements, to the ECB, the European Economic Bank, the Euro Central Bank, numerous programs begin to surface with woke connotations. Most of them initially focused on climate, saving the planet. Now there's a rising chorus of DEI and social equity babble coming from the central banks as well. Maybe international banks are limiting how they engage in ESG lending, but what about central banks? What if they drop the facade of politically neutral and come out full force and opposed to the woke mind virus? What if central banks become the foundation of ESG? Wouldn't woke then become perpetual? I believe this is exactly what is intended to happen, but have to be tied to directly to an economic crisis as well as the introduction of CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. A debt crisis, along with stagflation, could force the majority of companies into a corner. With lack of funds, falling consumer spending, deflation, and a tightening loan market, central banks and stimulus measures would once again begin the only official mechanism for rebuilding the economy. Governments would also be beholden to central banks as a means to stay afloat. And this means that bankers will have immense influence over how money is distributed. Unlike the crash in 2008, the next stimulus event will not be a fiat free-for-all. Instead, it will be a reset. a highly limited rescue plan with digital money being infused into select institutions. In other words, only a portion of the existing economy will be given a lifeboat. And guess who will qualify for a spot on the raft? That's right, the company showing the most devotion to ESG. That would show why so many corporations are refusing to back away from woke marketing, even though they're losing customers and by the millions. They know what's about to happen and they're preparing in advance for the fallout as an inevitable digital bailouts. Of course, some people argue this would require a level of organization's conspiracy that doesn't exist. It would be silly to suggest that corporations are colluding to enact fundamentally upend the current economic paradigm, right? Wrong. At least in terms of coordination, the cabal has already announced its presence. And here we got right here from the Vatican, inclusive capitalism with the Vatican. I'm not a I'm a Catholic, but I'm not a papist. Let me tell you that right now. The collusion of corporations, think tanks, and governments, and big church, Rick Warren, Pope, whatever the guy's name, Pope Francis, to create an international woke monopoly is not a theory; it's a reality. The only question left is when will the central banks fully admit that that's part of the scheme? I would suggest the signs of a banking crisis we witnessed at the beginning of this year are the tip of the iceberg. As the Fed and others continue to raise interest rates into economic weakness, stress on the system will expand, and eventually something integral will snap. It might be another Lehman Brothers moment. Maybe it'll be the U.S. dollar reserving reserve status, or some other disaster. But it's no coincidence. Buddy, you're too loud. You're way too loud for a little while. All right, dude, killing my ears. Oh, my land. But it's no coincidence that the invasion of far-left cultism in the business world is escalating at the same time our economic foundations are struggling. One is related to the other. It's my view the decay of the current system is meant to facilitate the creation of a new and perpetually woke economy. The public would thus be trapped into participating in the cult by sheer necessity, unless the population decentralizes using local production, localized trade. Our entire way of life will have to change dramatically, drawing from self-sufficient ideals that used to be a staple of 100 years ago. ESG is not going away on its own. Woke ideology is not going away on its own. These structures, thanks, babe. You would have to be, you would first have to be completely separate from it to escape it. I think that's a great article. Yeah, I guarantee we lost some people. I was reading that. Oh, well. How dare you talk politics? How dare you talk sports? I think that's a great article. I'll put the link in the show notes. That guy crushes. Brandon Smith at altmarket.com. Could not agree more. Put that link in the show notes here for you guys who want to watch or read that yourself. That was from Lou Rockwell. You should get, subscribe to Lou Rockwell's. I get that, email list every day. They come up with a bunch of articles. Some stuff I already read, other stuff I don't. But that's one of my go-to in the morning. 100% think that's the case. That's going to happen. And 100%, you're going to have to buy from, same group preference, just like the Jews do. 100%. Nothing wrong with that. You're going to have to buy localized and find people, and you're going to have to pay more. There's just no two ways around it. The days of going to Costco, frankly, are going to be limited. And I like going to Costco. I like Costco. I know the big lives, but they give a good product, a good price. But you're not buying a local freaking, butcher at Costco. Just not. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to have to happen that if you want to escape this crap, you're just going to have to kind of separate yourself from the economy as a whole. That doesn't mean live like freaking, fake Thoreau, Henry David Thoreau. Thoreau, was that his name? That's a fake guy, right? Who said, I'm going to live off the land. Well, it turns out his house is like 2 miles away. But it does mean you're going to have some kind of, come to Jesus moment. Like, I'm not going to be able to buy the things I want as quickly as I wanted before. I'm going to have to do without. And it's tough, man, because we're all used to being able to get things we want. Anyway, so let's see what's on your guys' mind here. I thought it was a great article. Dude, I'm freaking totally optimistic, man. I don't know how you can't be. It's going to be great. I mean, I'm telling you, man, the cream rises to the top, baby. Now, what's going to happen is the evil rises to the top in the evil area, the Washington, D.C., the ECB, the European Union, whatnot. Evil will rise to the top because it's inherently it's gangster built. These are gangsters. No other way around it. Joe Biden is, he's obviously an idiot, but they're run by gangsters, and gangsters are we call this in economics. Hey, this is my man. This is cracking. I sent you an email, cracking eggs. Tweet. Hopefully you got it. But anyway, and we know in mafia, we know in communism, we know in gangbanging, in South Central LA, the most violent and rise to the top, 100%. And the same thing's happening in the United States government. It's without question. The most violent, evil sons of bitches rise to the top. On the other hand, though, you got the good over here that say, hey, I'm not being part of that. I mean, this is why you just got to read your Bible, dude, because, all these guys are talking about what's coming to Israel, to Judah, because of, they went away from God's word, as we have done too. It has nothing to do with the gays. My goodness. I hear this all the time. Like, they're gay. I'm like, dude, I have a sneaky suspicion God talked a whole lot more about false idols than he did about homosexuality. I just have a sneaky suspicion. You know why I have that sneaky suspicion? Oh, because I look in the book. And I got a feeling God was, he might have said a couple things in Deuteronomy, whatever, Leviticus about homosexuality. I think he was saying some other stuff in there too about other behaviors that I think a lot of us are probably doing. Holding false idols, for one, comes to mind. And false idols doesn't have to be a golden calf. What do you do on a regular basis that pulls you away from God? That's a false idol. All right. The products that are available, the reason they're now produced in China, question on deflation, the reason they're now produced in China makes a difference. That's not really a question. That's like a statement with a question mark after it. So I'm not sure what you're saying there, brother man. Question on the deflation. The products that are available. The reason they're now produced in China makes a difference? I'm not sure what you're saying there, brother. But if you want to throw it again out there. 100%. Yeah, Dutch Empire to British USA, USA one. I'm not so sure about China though. I hear what you're saying. I kind of think that it's a good observation, Chris. I don't know, man. I just China's still commie, you know what I'm saying? And they're more fascist, I grant you, but they're also declining population, significantly declining. And I just I'm not so sure. I'm just not so sure. And they steal all of our technology. I mean, a lot of the anti-woke brigade that I follow is not keen on China, but more sympathetic to China than they are to even Europe. And I get that. I can't lie to you. Europe is such a basket case. But remember, China, they steal our stuff, man. That's all there is to it, And are they going to have the ability to create their own, under communism? I don't know. And I think Xi, he's showing some tyrannical ways. In a lot of ways. Now, my man Michael Edison lives in Hong Kong, goes, man, it's not nearly as bad as what you guys think in the United States here in China. I said, maybe not for you, Michael, but could it just a regular guy in China, and I'm not talking about Guangdong or anything like that. I'm talking about just, the middle of China. You know what I'm saying? Could a regular guy open a business? I don't know how that works, but in the end, without having to go through paperwork, the local commie intern has got to prove it, all this stuff. He's got to spread allegiance to the flag of the Chinese. Like, we got to spread allegiance to the 57 flavors flag. In China, you still got to spread allegiance to the communist flag. In terms of, if you want to get ahead and you want the proper paperwork, you got to basically give your alms to the Communist Party, the leaders. No, hey. I don't know how it works, but if you got to have you got to have easy access to small businesses. Without easy access to small businesses, that's where things stagnate. And I don't know how that works in China. Under communism, though, my knowledge of communism, which is pretty vast, trust me, I've read a lot of it. It's not easy to open up a small business. You know what I'm saying? And because of the regulations. Because remember, the whole thing about communism is, it's just like a fascist. Everything for the state, as Mussolini said, everything for the state. And private property under communism and socialism is, you can't have that. If you can't have private property, then you can't have businesses, because businesses inherently make and take a risk with your capital, your private property. So I'm not so sure. I get what you're saying. I'm not so sure China is going to be it, though. We'll see. So up, your emergency percentage to emerging markets ETFs. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd do that. Actually, I'm going to do a video tomorrow on the Vanguard because I thought about this before I came to my conclusion. I'm going to go with Ave Maria funds. I like the Star Fund at Vanguard. I think it's great. I think Star Fund gets overlooked a lot because it's the minimum to invest is only like $500. I'm a huge fan of Star Fund. Star Fund kicks ass. Yeah, he did, Jill. He had rainbow flags at rallies. He had the big one that said, yeah, 100%. Yeah, he is naive with some stuff. I agree. S&P 500 is up 13.9% since 1/1/2003, 2023. So we're up 14% so far this year. Okay. Okay. Oh my goodness. That must mean what? Um, yeah, I just can't. I get it, man. That's what I'm saying. I can't. If I'm going down, I mean, look, if I'm going down, I'm going down knowing full well that I invested in something that made my heart feel good about the way I invest my money. Smead, ooh, all right, let's take a look. Smead Value Fund says oversampled. All right, let's take a look. I never heard of it. Smead Value Fund. Ooh, all right, there we go. Let's take a look at Smead Value Fund, says this guy. We'll see, Joe. I don't know. I mean, Joe, Denise, I would think so. The price is lower right now than the call, so I'll get my money back. You know what I'm saying? I invested. I'll get a little bit of a tiny capital gain, a couple bucks, and I'll get some kind of interest. So we'll see how much interest I get. Frank, I can't remember exact date, and I can't remember if I bought accrued interest. I can't remember, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. So if I got, oh, is that what the guy's saying? Like, oh, the S&P 500 is up 13%, and you're only up what 6% annualized? Yeah, well, I mean that's the nature of the beast, man. I mean, if you're gonna go, Frank, I'll tell you right now, I'm still going into when this bond matures, I'm still going to put a decent amount into long-term government bonds. I still think that the huge opportunities in long-term government bonds, 100%. But the rest I'll put into Abbey. Anyway, so here's Smead Value Fund. Let's go to Portfolio Visualizer. Let's see what we come up here, amigos. Smead Value Fund. So, and this fund goes back to, yeah, it's only 2000. It doesn't have enough track record. That's the thing. We need more of a track record. So we don't have enough there. We'll compare it to the VTI. It always should be your proxy. Should always be the Vanguard Total Stock Index. Remember, VTI has only been around for 20 years or so. You'd have to use VTSMX, the Vanguard Mutual Fund version of the Total Stock Index. So let's just compare. Yeah, roughly. Let's see. Smead is the blue. Yeah, it's close. I mean, within spitting distance of each other. I need longer than that. I need longer than just 7 years or so. But let's take a look. I mean, let's take a look at Smead and see who these guys are. I try to get the interview with, I forgot the name of the company now, Smead Investments. And they set me up for an interview, and then they ghosted me. I guess they didn't like your old buddy Josh. Yes. Okay. Here's Smead Capital Management. So let's see what these guys are about. So let's go Smead Capital Management. All right. We are stock market investors. Wow. Okay. About us. We are stock market investors. Our individuals, we advise investors that fear stock market failure through low turnover. Differentiated. We advise investors that fear stock market failure through it's a weird sentence. Through a low turnover, differentiated value discipline, seeking wonderful companies to build wealth. All right. There we go. We got Cole, is probably his son right there. It always bothers me right here in a way. And I just, anytime they get a father-son team, I'm like, shirt sleeve to shirt sleeve in 3 generations, but whatever. Hey, Nick Garcia, he runs a fund for, I almost positive he runs a fund for Ave Maria funds too. Let's see. I think Nick Garcia runs a fund for Ave Maria funds. We'll look at Ave Maria funds here in just a second. Right. Good. So I don't see anything about all right. I like that so far. I don't see anything necessarily about looking at the books they got over here. All right, so they got security analysis. Isn't that Ben Graham? I think we got right here Bogle, not Bogle, the Siegel. I can't see what that says. Who's the author? The common. I can't see what that says. John Templeton. Okay. Anyway, whatever. That doesn't say much about being anti-woke. A book with legs. Okay. Yeah. All right. That doesn't do all that for me. But whatever. Hey, it's a start. It's a start. I didn't see anything that said explicitly anti-woke. That makes sense. And see what's going on Rumble. Kippy Kaye says cracking. Celtic Spirit. Most corporations are woke now, so I'm in cash. I would rather have less with a clear. Whatever. So that's kind of the way I'm thinking too. But that's why I'm kind of saying. Like, I hear what you're saying, Celtic Spirit. I always said I would rather have less with cash. With that said, I don't know if you have to it's not mutually exclusive. I think you can still invest in a company that promotes your values and at least will give you a seat at the table to say, stop this insanity. Not that it matters. Insane people are insane people. And I do think what the guy was from Lou Rockwell, that this is all part of a big picture. Like we're going to have a complete changing of the guard when it comes to capitalism. And if you don't play the woke crap, you're not getting financing. And that should kind of tell you something. Stay away from financing, from big bank financing. Get financing like how the Jews do, the Amish does, you know what I'm saying? Get financing among your own people. And the Mennonites, the Amish, barn raising parties and stuff like that. I don't know how they answer that, but it's like part of. I just there are groups that are more aligned with you that you just got to find. And that's why I like the Beartaria, Owen Benjamin's Bears. They're building land in Missouri. They got land in Idaho. You know what I'm saying? And a bunch of freaking guys and gals are just crushing, making it happen, doing business amongst themselves. There's always some interlopers. There's always going to be some clowns. There's some big issues that the bear community had to go contend with a few months ago. That was pretty disappointing. People trying to because Owen Benjamin's a pretty big name, and some people will do anything to get a big name, and they'll try to ride his coattails until they think they have a big enough name, then they can turn their back on him. It's actually pretty sad. Actually, it's like there's one guy who's like Owen brought to the table essentially and promoted him and everything, and this guy just rode Owen's coattails, and Owens were promoting him, and then Owen didn't agree with this guy's take on some biblical stuff, and the guy just went nuts on him. It's crazy. Like, and now he's like bashing. It's actually a sad thing to behold. And it's like, dude, I mean, whatever. Yeah, well, that's another thing too. Real estate. That's I 100% Kirk. Real estate is another opportunity, and that's not my area of expertise at all. But I deal with a lot of people who got rental real estate and other real estate, and I wouldn't want anything to do with it, frankly. But I mean, owning land. I mean, can you ever go broke on owning land? Don't you know about the Great Depression? Can you ever go broke by owning land? Not by borrowing to own land, by owning land. Can you ever go broke by owning land? Is what I'm trying to say. You got to raise freaking corn someplace. Got to be raised someplace. You know what I'm saying? What does it take to raise corn? A couple seeds and some freaking some water. Don't take much. And if you're in New Jersey, for heaven's sake, you put a freaking some uranium in the ground, and it's going to come up. Awesome tomato plants are going to come up. There's lots of wonderful land out there that needs a good tender. Somebody go in there and put some cover crop in there to regenerate the soil. You know what I'm saying? Because the soil has been so destroyed over years with chemical, monocultural chemical stuff and everything. And you put some cover crop like crimson clover. Winter rye, I don't know if you have to. Hopefully, God will provide water for you. You do that for a year, and rotate your crops. You're gonna have a couple of years. You have some good soil there. You know what I'm saying? And You can have a little farm stand. I mean, it's work. Nothing wrong with work, man. Nothing wrong with work. Getting outside and digging in the dirt, man, that's wholesome right there. It's wholesome. I'm telling you. Every time I get outside, like today I was messing around my inverter generator, and I was sitting there thinking, man, I'm not patient enough, and I don't follow directions very well, and I'm not patient enough, and I have kind of fat fingers, so I'm not good at like getting into the carburetor and pulling out the friggin' jets, and all. I'm like, oh. But what I like doing is I like going around and getting on my hands and knees and weeding. I don't like it, but I like weeding, getting the soil. You know what I'm saying? The sun's beating down on you. You can smell the rain coming. That's kind of stuff I like. And I'm gonna say I'm good at it, but I'm a grunt by heart. Doing grunt work doesn't bother me, but trying to figure out how to fix a freaking carburetor, I'm like, oh, I don't have the skill set for that. I don't have the patience. But anyways, so I was sitting there thinking, this is not anything I like to do. What I like to do is that over there. Now, other guys might say I like to do this over here, which is fix small engines. You know what I'm saying? So basically, what I would like to do is that over there. You do this over here, and we can kind of combine our forces. But yeah, lots of wealthy people use cash for real estate, 100%, man. Yeah, I hear you. God's money is gold and silver, not paper with devil worshippers. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that. I mean, does God say my money is gold and silver? You know what I'm saying? The fiat currency, that is the currency of this time. It's just a fact. God allowed it to happen. So are you going to not use the devil worshippers' money, or are you going to use the devil worshippers' money to be a good steward of God's wealth? I don't know, man. My Fever Flav, my dad just bought a 500 with cash, right on the money. Yep, exactly. Yeah, look at my man Javier. Yep, thanks, Republican Party corporations are woke with years of tax cutout. Yeah, I 100%. I can't argue that. Thanks, Republican Party corporations are woke with years of tax cuts. Yep, and outsourcing jobs in return for a donation. 100%. Yeah, I still love Ginnie Mae, Scott. Big fan. I mean, I love Ginnie Mae. It's hard to argue with Ginnie Mae right now when Ginnie Mae is paying what 3.5 and cash is paying 4.8. I mean, it's tough. So now, with that said, the opportunity would be that when they start reducing interest rates because the economy is taking on the chin, the Ginnie Mae will probably destroy cash. But right now, it's awful hard to make that argument. And I was talking to a guy today. It's like, man, you're getting 4.8% in your money market account, but I still like long-term government bonds or intermediate-term government bonds because if you just look at history, whenever you had a run of down years in bonds, they've come back strong, strong. That's speculation, though. That's speculation. I don't want to say that's an investment. That is a speculation of this happened before, so it could happen again. That's speculation, man. And when it comes to investing, we don't want to speculate that much. Now, the nice thing about government debt is you're speculating on the risk-free asset. You're going to get some kind of return on your money regardless of what happens, because we know the government debt can't go bankrupt. I get it. They can go bankrupt. I get all it. When we talk about risk-free assets, it's always government debt, U.S. government debt. All right. So we know that if you're in U.S. government debt, you can't be any safer than that relative to everything else that's out there. So you say, okay, I got some U.S. government debt. It's not going bankrupt. In the interim, I'm going to get paid 3.5 to 4% while I'm waiting for that jump whenever the interest rates start falling and the economy kind of settles down and starts going in a decelerating manner, which it is right now. Roy Kirk says he trusts real estate. Yeah. Yeah, that's not a good argument, Jill. If Trump is so pro rainbow, why is he called a bigot, homophobe, and racist by these people? That's not a good argument, though, because you can make that about anybody. It's kind of like saying how these guys say, this is what the guys will say. I'm middle of the road. I'm hated on the left and I'm hated on the right. You're like, and you're on the right that the guy who says he's middle of the road, he's not. He's lefty. He's just not as left as what the typical lefty is, which is why he's hated by the people on the left. I hear that stuff all the time. I'm not a radical. I'm hated by the right and the left. You're like, no, you're a freaking clown. I hate that crap. Yeah, Reeds. Hey, Barhampton was the name of the money manager. Couldn't understand you. It was Ave Maria Mutual Funds. So let's look up Ave Maria Funds. As much as I bash the Catholic Church in terms of the the Pope and the Vatican, I am still a Catholic. And I'm not a low C Catholic. I'm still a big C Catholic. It's just my culture, man. It's where I was raised. It's where I'm from. It's what I'm comfortable with. And people can argue all the time, oh, that's not the truth. I hate that crap. I hate it. I would never say to a Baptist, you don't believe in the true God. I don't know why some Baptists feel the need to say Catholics don't believe in the true God. And then the same Baptists or Protestants to say that will use Martin Luther as their example of anti-Catholicism. I said, do you not know history of Martin Luther freaking conspired with the Catholics? I can't remember if it was Thomas More. I can't remember, but with the Catholics to decimate and annihilate the freaking Anabaptists. Why? Because they didn't believe in the Trinity. It's all scumbags, all the way down, all of them. They've all misrepresented the good, true, and beautiful of God's word with His Son Jesus Christ. It's crazy to me how some of these guys are like, oh, the Catholics, you're a papist, he's a what do they call the antichrist. Look, I can't stand the Pope either. But what, Russell Moore, the freaking Southern Baptist Convention. I mean, we saw what he was doing at the Southern Baptist Convention back in 2015, promoting the freaking climate change crap. That clown. You all voted for him, just like we voted for the Pope. I don't want to hear. That's all fake stuff, in my opinion. And then people say, oh, the KJV versus NIV. And, that's neither of these are Catholic Bible. That's the NIV right here, edition 1984. It's since been changed, by the way. God's word, inerrant word, has been changed. That's weird. Yeah, this whole thing's friggin' stupid, man. It's fake. It's fake. In terms of the argument, like, oh, I have the true word. Why? Because my book says it is. Okay, well, my book says it is for me. So one of us is not the true. Yeah, the whole thing's just stupid. I hate it. I hate that with a passion. It's so stupid. I'm like, dude, come on. But people need something to argue about, I guess. Dumb. All right, so anyway, let's go to Ave Maria Funds. I was looking at my man here, and they had the Garcia guy, our fund family. So the Garcia guy was the Focus Fund, I think. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, Chad Garcia. That's not the same guy. I think all Spanish sounding people are like Tyson. You think they all like Tyson. That's what Sir Mix-a-Lot said in one of his videos. They all look like Tyson when he pulled over some black guys. The cop pulled over some black guys. They all look like Tyson. All guys with name Garcia, they all look like Tyson. I don't think it's the same guy, but Chad Garcia runs it. So this fund hasn't been around long enough for me to invest in it. The fund I like, and it's if I can find it, was this guy right? I think it's this guy right here. Rising Dividend Fund. It's been around, 2005. There's my man George Schwartz, and there's expense ratio 91 basis points. Oh my goodness! Again, I get it, dude. I'm freaking Vanguard through and through when it comes to expense ratios. I get it. For me, I'm okay paying these guys to alleviate my dismay of investing in the Satanists that are running the show. But check this out. They only got 38 holdings. How awesome is that? In fact, let's take a look at this compared to the Vanguard one. This is AVEDX. So we're going to go to Portfolio Visualizer. We're going to compare AVEDX against Vanguard's VDIGX. Right. I used to own this, VDIGX. I'm just curious. I haven't looked these two up, so I'm doing this off the fly. Remember, if you're trying to maximize wealth, all right, I'm not trying to maximize wealth. I'm trying to maximize my ability to deal with the wealth that God has provided with me. And that's it. Yeah. So what's what here? So Vanguard dividend growth has done better at by about 100. Look, about almost identical. Well, actually, what's the fee on Vanguard dividend growth? I think it's 31 basis points. I don't know if we got the fees on here. Anyway, so look at that. So Vanguard over since the last 18 years or so, roughly 18 years, Vanguard dividend growth has outperformed by a whole 100 basis points over the term. So Vanguard dividend growth gave you 10,000, grew to 51,000, 10,000, and the Ave Maria fund grew to 44,000. So you're leaving money on the table theoretically. If that's important to you, then I get it, 100%. And let's compare it to VTI. We'll just look at the total market index. I still own VTI. I got VTI. Not a huge position in VTI anymore, but I still have money in VTI, by the way. Let's take a look. Total stock index, and looks like total stock index and Ave Maria spent distance with a dividend growth has done better than both. All right. So the Vanguard dividend growth has done outperformed both the total stock index and the Ave Maria fund. The Ave Maria Rising Dividend Fund has been a spit distance of the total stock index. And I'm comfortable with that. That's okay by me. There are other funds, like they have a bond fund. I didn't find that very. I think if you're going to bond fund, just buy Vanguard government bond fund. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do for sure. My mother was W-2 was 70K and Social Security, and her spouse was 43. My mother W-2 was 70K and Social Security with her spouse was 43. All right, so let's go into this. So this is interesting. It's a good comment, XTAC. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to see, do they have, they're 72 years old? They'll need to take RMD soon. All right, so we're going to have 80% of her Social Security is taxed. All right, so we got 40. Yeah, this is going to be a problem. So we got 43,000 plus 70,000. All right, so what we do now is we take the 43,000, divide that by 2. That'll give us what? 21, no, 17, something. So 21.5. Oh no, I got nothing to. Oh, here we go. Sweet. Oh no. Oh yes, sweet. All right. So what we're doing here is we're gonna figure out if she really had to pay that much in taxes on Social Security. So 43 is 21.5. There we go. Yeah, probably. All right. So her provisional income is 91,500. All right, 91,500 is her provisional income. All right, so we're going to put that up here on the top, 91,500. All right, so we know the first 0 to 32 is none of that's taxable. Remember, what we're trying to do is figure out how much of our Social Security is subject to taxation. 32 to 44, 50% of that is, and anything above 44, 85% of that is. All right, so those are, I hate to call them bend points, but it's kind of what it is, a bend point. All right, so we got 6,000 there. And then we got 91.5 minus 44,000 is 47,500 times 0.85. Yeah. And they get, yeah, so 100%. So, yep. So, yep, they are. They're 85% of their Social Security is subject to taxation. That's 100% correct. And with RMDs coming soon, what can she do? I mean, the RMDs aren't going to make her Social Security any more subject to taxation. It's the income that she's got. The income that she's got is obviously they took Social Security too early, frankly, because they have such a small benefit. I mean, $43,000 in Social Security divided by 2 people. 43 divided by 2. That's it's only 21,500 each. You know what I'm saying? Divide that by 12. That's about $1,800 each right there. So, and she's only 72. So I guarantee she took it at 62, and that's it's too bad. She shouldn't have. She should have waited and to spend down her IRA money first. But it's hard to do. I get it. RCC parent. I don't know what RCC is. Have Bible studies currently on Leviticus. Yeah, Jim Jones. Are bonds considered? Yeah, I know. That's that's a question. That's a great question, Celtic Spirit. Are bonds considered biblical usury? So remember, what usury is lending to. I mean, you lending to others who aren't in your tribe. You can do that. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? You can do that. Lending to your own, you're not really supposed to charge an interest for. I'm not all that enamored with following the usury thing because it seems to be somewhat, what's the word I look for? So you can lend to foreigners. That's literally what it says in the Bible, foreigners, and charge an interest. So are you lending to foreigners when you're lending to the U.S. government? I mean, Are they your neighbors? Are they in your tribe? Mm. Uh, YouTube is easy. We're all watching you on our deflationary big screen TVs. Yeah, right on, man. Right on. All right. Is Ginnie Mae Fund a good investment considering? I think we already talked about that. Hey, look at Tina. Right on. BlackRock sets the rules. Pride is one of 7 deadly sins. Yep. All right. Black Mirror. Aren't they supposed to come up with a new season, Tina? I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that, Kirk. My emoticons. I haven't stepped a foot inside Target since they shrugged off safety of women and children by allowing men. Oh, 100%. Target kissed my big fat behind. My wife is not going to Target either. Trust me, she shopped a lot at Target. So my wife's like, yeah, now I'm going to Walmart. Hate to do it, but I'm doing it. Nice thing, I noticed in Walmart, there was no Pride stuff here. None. Maybe because we're in the South. I don't know. But I was like, looking around, I was like, And I don't like going to Walmart so much, but hey, man, remember, the whole point before was tolerance, and now it's promotion. It was never supposed to be about promotion. We all got suckered into these people, man. We all did. Yeah. Javier, I don't know, man. I mean, I go back and forth on that. My pastor taught our Wednesday night group about Abraham when he conquers enemies. Their king believed on the God of Abraham, offered him all his spoils, and Abraham told no. Do you remember why? My pastor taught on our do I remember why the Abraham said no? Have you heard about people not being able to make cash payment for the amount of? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Have I heard about people not being able to make cash payment with the amount is over 1K? Oh, be paid with cash. I see what you're saying. We got the suspicious activity reports at the banks and stuff. Yeah, but I mean, look, if I had a guy do my garage door open the other day, and it cost how much it cost all said and done? $1,200 or something like that. Paid him cash. He took it. He gave me 5% discount for cash. Let's see. It was because he did not want. He said another king or man made him rich. His riches are in heaven. Gotcha. He valued integrity more than money. 100%. That's Abraham. Yep, 100%. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, all right, so let's just say you're the Ave Maria fund, and your 10,000 grew to 45,000. But you're like, man, if I would have had the Vanguard fund, I would have 51,000 bucks. Do you really think that's what God wants you to look at? Like, I'm not judging you. I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. But I don't know. You really think God would say, man, that extra $7,000 can make such a big difference in your life that you can basically, make me proud, essentially? I don't think so. I don't. And this is just my own conclusion now. I'm like, because I've been thinking for 4 months about what am I going to do instead of Wellington. In the interim, I bought some bonds. I'm like, I'm not going to be in bonds forever, but I said I got to do something here because I can't support this crap. But I believe the capital markets have value, and I want to make some money too. You got to make money. God doesn't look down on you making money. But I'm just like, at the end of the day, it's kind of like I just Happy Maria funds. I'm going to go with it, and if whatever happens, happens, and I'm okay with that. Since 2 Target customers tried getting in my face for parking near the curb while waiting for my mom and that's crazy. People are nuts. What's the score? Oh, speaking of which, yeah, I'm gonna get ready. Jimmy Dore talked about social engineering last week on a show. Yeah, I gotta get ready to go watch the game. My kid's out there watching. I saw even HEB went woke and Cracker Barrel and friggin' Chick-fil-A. All that says is stop using these companies. Like, don't eat at Chick-fil-A anymore. Just make your own chicken. I'm obviously gonna have to go to the grocery store. I get it, but find I don't know, Ingles. Do they go woke? Let's take a look. Ingles grocery store. Publix, they go. We use Publix here, man. Ingles. Publix ain't cheap, but do they go woke? Let's see. I go to Ingles. Let's see if Ingles has gone woke. I think they kind of did. If memory serves, Ingles had a big thing on 1 second. Oh my goodness. Let's give me the freaking store. All right. Ingalls had a big thing on Black Lives Matter. Could have sworn they did. I can't remember which one. We'll just say this one. All right. I just want to go to the homepage here. That's all I care about. All right, so home. Careers. Corporate. Let's see. Board diversity mate. Yeah, they got DI diversity inclusion statement. Great. Sustainability. Oh gosh. Publix.com. Publix.com. Hopefully that's the right website. So let's go to Publix. Sustainability. All right. Hey, but no DEI at Publix. All right. They got stupid sustainability, but no DEI. That's what I'm talking about. Way to go, Publix. Let's go to careers. Pharmacy, retail, distribution. We're a great place to work. We support diversity. It's not as. All right. Supporting diversity in of itself doesn't bother me. It's the friggin' diversity, inclusion, and DEI. Equity. Equity is evil. Equity is evil. All right, so that's pretty good. Committed to diversity. All right. Well, I mean, I like it. I think it's stupid. What's the other one I was getting ready to look at? Let's look at Chick-fil-A. Let's see if they got a big thing on there for diversity. What a real slap across the face, man, about who we are. We're closed. All right, why we're closed on Sundays. All right. They can set one day aside to worship if they choose, a practice we uphold today. And that's good, but you don't say anything about Jesus necessarily in there. Yeah, there we go. To glorify God. Well, there we go. That's good. Better together. All right. Oh boy, our commitment to DEI. Let's read what Chick-fil-A says. Dude, equity is evil. It's evil. It's not equality. It's equity is evil. Chick-fil-A. Oh, here we go. Yep. Got a black guys head of diversity. They actually got a VP of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Oh, it's so embarrassing. Ensuring equal access, valuing differences, creation of culture of belonging. How can you be against that? Because equity, diversity, and inclusion is not about any of that crap. It's all fake. Anyway, so the way to beat this, just don't eat their crappy food, dude. Stop. It's bad for you. It's expensive. All right. I can get out of here, my friends. Go watch some basketball with my kid. And then, oh yeah, Walmart's woke too. I mean, it's 100%. There's no getting around it. The point being is try not to use as much as you can. Don't go to freaking Chick-fil-A every day for lunch, for heaven's sake. Don't go to Starbucks every day. You're going to still buy. You can't escape it. But just don't use it as much. Separate yourself from the industry as much as you possibly can. Don't go to Target. Don't buy Bud. Don't drink beer, for heaven's sake, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to drink beer, drink Leinenkugels up there in Leinenkugels Red up there in Pennsylvania. A business will have the no DEI position. A business will have the no DEI. University has one per college. I don't give that. A business will have the N. I don't even know what that means. A business. I do zero fast food since 2015. Chef John from Food Wishes makes a great CFA replica. Sammy check. I don't know what that is. Oh, I'm sure Dunkin' Donuts is woke too, Joe. 100%. Leinenkugels, Wisconsin. Yeah, what's the word? Leinenkugel Red, Wisconsin. That's right. I was thinking about the other one there in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Black and tan. Leinenkugels Red. Remember that? The black and tan from Pennsylvania. You know what I'm talking about. It's got a kick-ass black and tan. A business will have the one DEI position. Oh, I got what you're saying. Is that what you're saying, Doug? That every business is going to have one DEI position? Yeah, that means you bought into it. Yingling, that's it. Yingling, yes, sir. Yeah, I mean that's the issue. They all bought into it, Oh, look at Marie. She's been Mandela. It's not chick. It's CHIK. Chick-fil-A. Black and tan. All right, I'm gonna get out of here, my friends. God bless. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks again. Bye bye. All right.